What's up guys, it's Criddle here from the AnimeBallZ team with another This Is. This is with unusual themes but set in real world Japan, specifically the Shibuya area. But let's have a look at it, let's see what this is in This Is Chaos Head.
Off the tracks.
So Chaos Head is the story of Takumi, a relatively normal high school student who is a bit of a shut-in, a bit of a NEET, which is the not employed under education or training, which is not really a NEET because he does go to school, but very sporadically, sort of like one of those guys who's like, yeah, I'm here, hey everyone, I'm here, see you. He has a bit of a problem where he's completely obsessed with video games and the virtual world and has hallucinations and hallucinates his favourite, anime figurine character to life and has her just, having conversations with him and all that sort of stuff. And, what a weirdo, just being that obsessed with figurines, isn't that right, Nami? Yeah, bit of a weirdo creep. Anyway, everything changes for Takumi when he is privy to what is called one of the new gen murders. There's a guy online that he's talking to that gives him a photo from one of the new gen murders and says, hey, this is a photo from tomorrow. Seems a bit odd, but that doesn't make much sense. So Takumi, in some weird twist of fate, ends up witnessing the next of the gen murders, the new gen murders, which is where he originally sees for the first time Rimi. He thinks it's very odd, especially when she shows up to school the next day. Very, very odd series for this guy to, suddenly have this girl who he saw murdering someone attending class and acting like his best and first friend, the childhood friend sort of thing that sort of goes hand in hand with that. The series quickly begins to unravel and turns into a sort of harem-esque series, but with a very, very dark overture to the whole thing. It's a very, very psychological series with a whole bunch of really creepy ideas and concepts coming into play. I did love this series very much. It did take me 2 watches of the series to really get behind it, get to understanding it, and get to a point where I could turn around and say, you know what? I actually understood this series and I know what's going on and everything has fallen into place. I'll say this much, nothing is as it seems. So enough about the storyline, and I don't want to really delve into the storyline much at all. It's just weird things happening in normal sort of place. It is set in actual Japan, in the Shibuya area. And it's really weird because I've actually been to Japan. If anyone, first playing at home, I went there a few years ago, and there's an anime shop mentioned in the first 3 or 4 episodes, and they actually show the outside of that anime shop. I have actually been to that anime shop. I actually bought 6 of the One Piece DVDs, other movies, while I was over there because they haven't been released. Obviously, Funimation or Madman haven't picked them up and started dubbing them, so we don't actually have the movies. So I picked up 6 of the movies that were there. It cost me like 60,000 million yen, but still, it's beside the point. It worked out to be about $60 for all these movies, and it was a lot of money. It was a lot of money that I spent on these movies, but they were very cool One Piece movies. And anyway, I'm diverging from what we're meant to be talking about. I've gotten completely off the tracks, but let's look at the characters a bit more detail as we look at
The good, the bad, and the dubbers.
So Takumi is voiced by Todd Haberkorn, the voice of Natsu Dragneel from Fairy Tail, Death the Kid from Soul Eater, and Keisuke Takahashi from Initial D, the Funimation dub. Nanami, who is Takumi's sister, is voiced by Brittany Kowalski, who is Hideyoshi in Battle Girls Time Paradox, Himiko from Batum, and Cecilia from Infinite Stratus. Rimi is voiced by Kerry Savage, who is the voice of Hakufu from Ikki Tausen, Lizana from Fairy Tail, and Satori from Bamboo Blade. Yua, who is one of the characters introduced, and there's a lot of characters that get introduced over the course of this series. Yua is a girl who introduces herself to Takumi and decides that she wants to help him and be his friend and get close to him as much as possible. Even going as far as sort of going into that girlfriend sort of role very early on in the series. She is voiced by Colleen Clinkenbeard, who is the voice of Hawkeye from Full Metal Alchemist and Full Metal Alchemist Brotherhood, Luffy from One Piece, and Scanty from Panty and Stocking with Gutterbelt. Senna is voiced by Clarine Harp, who is the voice of China from Access Powers Hetalia and all the sort of spin-off type series, Kaide from Negima, and Sei from Burst Angel. Ayase is voiced by Stephanie Sheh, who is the voice of Hinata from the Naruto series, Miho from Bakuman, and Chiyuri from Axel World. And Kozue is voiced by Kara Edwards, who is Goten from the Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball GT sort of series, Nymph from Heaven Lost Property, and Altia, the child version from Fairy Tail. So obviously this does turn into a bit of a sort of heavy harem type series, but with a battle element. They've got D-swords, and D-swords are sort of like these dimensional swords that sort of cut through reality and things like that. Very interesting psychological series. Very much worth checking out if you haven't already done so. It's a very fantastic series, but it might take a couple of watches. It's like how when you watch Fully Cooley more than once, you actually start to pick up more and more of the storyline as things go by. But that's enough from me. I give this series a 7 out of 9 straw hats. I'm Criddle, this has been Chaos Head, and I'll catch you on the flip side.